one of our undrafted players, and everyone's talking about Justin Ross and Jerrion Ely as the two undrafted guys we got. There's the one guy that's is not being talked about enough. He's in NFL international player pathways, Kehinde Oginni Hassan. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but that's what I got. He was originally signed from Nigeria to play tight end, but Chiefs are planning on using him as a defensive end. The guy started playing football in 2014, stands 6'7", 225 pounds. So he's a little light. His mentor was former pass rusher Osi Umenyiora, who played for the Giants, was a badass pass rusher under Steve Spagnuolo, our defensive coordinator. So it's an interesting guy. You know, we always talk about edge rushers. We've talked about on the show during our mock draft episode about, getting like those long basketball player looking type guys. And 6'7", 225, this guy does fit the bill of that longer kind of pass rush type of guy. Obviously a lot of work to do, new to football. But Karlaftis is new to football as well, coming from Athens. So my question is, what do you make of this developmental signing? But I guess overall, what do you make of the football kind of spreading all over the world now? Getting guys from Nigeria, the Eagles left tackle, Australia played rugby, Karlaftis, Greece. I mean, there's so many guys. We're trying to get more of these guys now, like in the NBA with the top four guys with Embiid, Jokic, and Doncic, and Giannis. There's international players taking over like these American sports. What do you think about that, JD?
I'm all for it, man. It's encouraging to me. I mean, because now we're sitting there, we're trying to make this a more international game with football. I have a friend that I actually coach with down at Kentucky State who was in China right now. And he was sending some things like, look, man, they want some guys to come over to coach some of these guys for some of these teams. And he said they're starting to have a lot more of the fans and whatnot kind of working over here. And he said, man, they're really, really kind of thirsty for this. And if you get a guy like this develop, I think, he'll be a great football player, especially with this such a raw talent. And I know you said Osi was working with him. Well, if you have a place that you could pull up, another guy from, another talent pool, okay, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go and, fish at that pond and say, look, man, we may find something over here. And I seen when I first heard that we signed him, I actually watched a story they had of him, like 10-minute story of him, which was really, I really liked. It was kind of in depth talking about the International Football League and those guys, like the learning curve. It was so much shorter, like they was getting everything faster, like they was picking it up. But I think a lot of that has to deal with, people's mindset, their hunger. And so a guy like this who comes in and was going to play tight end, was a wide receiver, put him at defensive end. Now you have to worry about plays. You just have to go. And if I have an athlete like that, then, hey, we can develop this guy. We got time to develop a guy like that. We can put him on practice squad or whatever and just let him develop. And look, man, he's 6'6". He's got that frame, 6'7". I'm sorry, 6'7". So he's got that long frame, the arms and whatnot. I mean, to not pass us down. And I know he could spin moves and whatnot. I know he's gonna be able to do all of that. He'll give tackles fits. I mean, he really will, just with his length alone. So I know he's probably got some quickness, some speed. The more technical parts of the game and that position, he'll learn over time. And as long as he's watching the guys in front of him, which he has some really good ones right now that he can learn from, I think he's going to be all right. We're going to see if he can really develop into something that we can utilize. But as far as those opportunities coming from other countries, man, I tell you what, that's promising. It really is. I like that. I love hearing it because I think the game of football, we've enjoyed it so much here over in the States that we just want other people to realize what it is that they are missing, So, of course, when we're sitting there saying football, they're like, oh, okay, soccer. No, like football, American football. Like, y'all, if y'all like soccer, y'all will love American football, So I think, reaching out and going to different countries and whatnot. And like I said, finding guys and different talent and whatnot is something that to me is very encouraging, and I'm all for it. It's positive. I love it.
Yeah, and the thing that strikes me is that you mentioned like like being able to watch guys and kind of pick up things, and with being a pass rusher, it's kind of one track thing. You know what to do, right? It's not like you have to learn these plays, terminology. Right. I'm sure there's a little terminology on defense, but it's like when I heard the story of Joel Embiid, I'm a Sixers fan. Anybody who watched the show knows I'm a Sixers fan. And his story was so cool because he was so new to basketball. During NBA, did one of these things where they went to Africa, they went to Cameroon, and Luke Mbamute, who's also Cameroonian, went there, saw Joel Embiid playing basketball. I was like, oh, this he's got an interesting build. Shows him a tape of Hakeem Olajuwon. Embiid watched that. He said he watched it religiously, watched it all the time, tried to, take every kind of body movement that Hakeem the Dream did in his Dream Shake and did it. And he mastered it. Something that's not really an easy thing to do because you don't really see many big men be able to do the kind of moves that Hakeem did, and seeing what Embiid doing now. But like, a guy like this who sees Osi Umenyiora teaching him stuff, like he could implement a lot of what Osi was doing, and being able to kind of mimic what these guys like Osi Umenyiora are doing, just kind of taking that, like being so new to the game, you don't really develop these bad habits, right? You didn't watch things, try to do stuff that, they don't really know football. Like they don't really watch it. So like, he's so new to it that like anything he's being taught, he can just kind of like, ingrain that and try to implement that into his play. So, I mean, what do you think about that aspect of it? Not getting any kind of bad habits from not watching football before.
Now this, guys know what they know. And so, like I said before, when you have a clean slate with a guy, you can teach him a whole lot. And so guys like that are hungry for knowledge and they're hungry for instruction. And when you showing guys like you saying Embiid, learn from Olajuwon. I don't quite know Embiid's quite there with Olajuwon yet. A Dream Shake. I know you like Embiid, but that Dream Shake from Olajuwon, woo! But Embiid's a good player, man. It's soccer feet. And so part of that culture, what they've done is incorporate soccer and that athleticism with the feet, the quickness into basketball, football. And I think if you do that, the value that you'll be able to get out of these guys, man, is going to be, incredible. And so I think guys like that, like you said, who has a clean slate, without a doubt, is going to be able to do a lot more. They'll develop a lot faster. And I think Osi said that, like, these guys are developing a lot faster than what you say or what you think. It's almost like you see now some of the players that's in the NFL that may have a African background, from Nigeria, like you said, Karlaftis and stuff like that. So when they start learning a little bit later, develop all the bad habits and whatnot that some of these guys develop over here. And then also too, maybe part of the attitude, if you will, because listen, we are spoiled over here in the United States, no doubt about it. We have everything, all the resources to be successful in a lot of different ways. And so where these guys may not have that, they may be more apt to like, hey, let me take it for everything that it's worth. Every chance, every opportunity, let me take it for what it's worth. I remember a guy saying this. I went to go to an EKU game, and his son was tackled, and he's from Africa. And so when I was talking to his dad was like, Jason, he said, man, these kids out of here, he said, they don't know how to, their back doesn't reach their stomach. Their back doesn't reach their stomach. So I'm sitting there thinking like, their back doesn't reach their stomach. Yeah, they're not hungry enough. I'm like, oh, okay. Woo, that's good. I like that. Back not reaching their stomach, meaning they haven't been hungry. So sometimes that hunger motivates and drives you, to do more, to be great, to be successful, almost like that relentless spirit, not to give up. So, sometimes, man, what are you going to tell a man who's never had hunger how to do certain things? He's already going to be like, oh, man, I'm good. A man that's been hungry, maybe not have no shoes on his feet, has a different mindset about things. And so when they come, they have a whole different motive, different perspective on things. And so, yeah, sometimes, man, that stomach needs to hit the back. We need to remind ourselves of that every single day to keep going and keep striving to be better and successful. But yeah, I never forgot that, man. He said that, I'm like, man, Joker said a word right there. Said a word. Yeah. So, yeah, man, I think you give them the right information, give them, the nurturing, they're going to be successful. So let's see, man. Let's see what the young fella can do.
Yeah, no, it's actually really good advice that Yeah, when you said that, I was like, huh? And then you explained it.
Yeah.
At 6'7", 225, I know that the height is there. Ideally, where do you want him to be weight-wise?
If he's just being a pass rusher, man, he could be 250, 245. We see these guys, when I was looking at some of the guys that came out as pass rushers in the draft, there were some guys at 230, 235. I'm like, wow, okay. But they're pass rushing specialists. And so if he learn how to use his arm length, because that's another thing, arm length, just getting guys off of you to get, keep the blockers off of you, he's going to be all right. But they'll teach him how to, like I said, use hands. I tell him right now, hey, if I was him, and I'm sure the Chiefs probably have somebody like this on their staff, but somebody who's good in jiu-jitsu or, Aikido, something like that, just working your hands and, constantly doing that. So you go see Tamba. Go bring Tamba up. Hey, Tamba, work with this young fella. See what you could do. So I'm sure Tamba, probably pressing him up a few times. So yeah, man, I that's what I would do. I get a guy in that does nothing but hand combat.
Yeah.
Teach this young guy and see what you can get out of him. They ought to have a guy in there right now like that anyway, which I'm sure they do. So
Thomas still, I believe, still is in the Kansas City area, so he could definitely the short little car ride away.
Yes, sir. Play his music, put that good music on.
Yeah.
Let Tom go to work, baby. Let him go to work. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.